Ubuntu is something that is very important when you're dealing with people. People are dealing with a lot that we don't know of. Mm-hmm. So we need to be compassionate with each other. We need to understand each other and meet each other halfway. And it made me learn to understand that you can't do anything alone. Mm. You do it as a community. You do it as a family. And you don't need to be blood related in order to be family.
I think a true testament of what you're saying is one of my favorite sayings, that it takes a village, you know.
And I had to have a conversation with myself. But what does Vuyiswa want? Not what my mother wants, not what anyone else wants. What do I want to do with my life? What am I passionate about? Standing up for others. Being the voice for those who are not able to channel their voices. So I registered for law and I never stopped. Well, I've learned that you need to take calculated risks if you want to grow in life, whether it's in my personal life or it's in my career. I also had to learn that my integrity is my currency to maintain and sustain myself in growing.
Sanbonani, hello, hi, and welcome to the Top Woman Podcast, a show where we take a behind-the-scenes look of the powerful woman we see today. Today we're chilling nicely, all warm and comfortable at Nomusa's B&B, and we are looking at a powerful woman from the Eastern Cape who has killed the game in 035 as she leads all other women and legal practitioners in the legal field. Sihlezi Vuyiswa. Hello, Sis V, how are you?
Hi, Sis, and
Oh, I love that Eastern Cape Xhosa.
Yeah, oh gosh.
Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not ashamed to speak Xhosa.
I might get lost, but I'll find it
No
along the way.
problem.
It's a learning process.
Yes.
So we also need to know now that we need to know other languages as well. But while you're on that Xhosa vibe, and I love the fact that you embrace it so much, I want to find out, you come from a small village called Qumbu.
Kubusi.
Kubusi, yes.
From
So tell us where you come from, how it was like growing up like that before Siz's figure to where you are now.
It was an interesting period of my life. I was raised by my grandmother. We had a lot of good times and bad times. We had a lot of grandchildren. But it was a beautiful time of my life where I understood how it is and how it feels to grow up in an environment where there's more than one person. That we need to respect each other, that we need to understand each other. And it taught me to have empathy. Yeah.
Is there anything that you kind of grasped growing up in that environment that you now understand more about human nature, that you now apply to either the boardroom or the courtroom?
Oh, yes. Compassion. You know, Ubuntu is something that is very important when you're dealing with people. People are dealing with a lot that we don't know of. So we need to be compassionate with each other. We need to understand each other and meet each other halfway. So growing up at Kubusi, it's something that I learned to know that I may not have food right now, but my neighbor's got food, and I won't go sleep without eating. And you go to school without shoes, no one is going to laugh at you. We understand that maybe there's no money for your parents to buy you shoes. So it was not something that would feel ashamed about if you go to school without shoes or without a new shirt. So we supported each other. Ubuntu was it's still something that is very close to my heart.
You speak about Ubuntu a lot, and when I look at your profile and I look at your brand identity, you use Ubuntu a lot, and you've just broke it down to us that it comes from where you grew up. Do you have a specific memory that when you think about Ubuntu, from where you grew up, and you remember a specific memory that has made that word specifically stick to you?
Oh, yes. Um, you know, I don't want to say I grew up poor because I had a roof over my head, I had clothes to wear, to school, even at home. But then at school, I had a very positive support system from my teachers, from the women in the village, because I was a bright student, I was a bright child, I was very curious. I loved reading, I loved challenging the teachers. So they would always say to me, you know what, one day you're going to be something great. So for me, it was like, these people are not even related to me, but they see something better in me. And they managed to also motivate my peers to say, you are all one family. You are all one community. Support each other. So that was very important to me. And it made me learn to understand that you can't do anything alone. You do it as a community. You do it as a family. And you don't need to be blood related in order to be family.
I think a true testament of what you're saying is one of my favorite sayings, that it takes a village.
Yeah.
You know. So now take me forward now just a bit. You grew up now in the Eastern Cape, and then you went to Fort Hare,
Yeah.
the University of Fort Hare. Whether you've been to Eastern Cape or you've never been, but nobody does not know the historical building or university or institution that is Fort Hare, where some of the many greats actually sat at those lecture halls. And more specifically, you studied law.
Yeah. Yes.
Where that decision for you to say, now, this is the field that I want to be in, and saying, this is the institution I want to be in. Wherever a time where you sit in those halls and you felt the magnitude of what you are about to begin.
You know, it's interesting, Zama, because when I went to Fort Hare, I didn't go there to study law. Yeah. My mother wanted me to do pre-med because my results from grade 12 were not so good. She wanted me to do medicine. But as I was there, looking at all the structures and the history of that institution, I said to myself, a lot of people, your Nelson Mandelas and others, they speak for those who are voiceless. I think I want to do the same thing. And I had to have a conversation with myself. But what does Vuyiswa want? Not what my mother wants, not what anyone else wants. What do I want to do with my life? What am I passionate about? Standing up for others, being the voice for those who are not able to channel their voices. So I registered for law, and I never stopped.
And what was the conversation now to your mother? Because I know there's a lot of young people right now where it's passion versus responsibility, which is a parent's wish or desire. And now, what could you say to that child? Because even the way you speak about it, I can see the passion steaming from you. But now, what do you say to a child who is in that position? You know?
Well, I'll start by saying I didn't tell her the truth up until my June results for my first year. And fortunately enough, she was okay with my decision. And I would like any other child who's growing up with a dream, make sure that they dedicate themselves into believing in themselves. Because what happens is that our parents, our elders, if I can put it that way, they have a vision of what their children should be or what they should do. You must have that conversation with your parents and say, I understand what you dream for me, but I have my own dream. And I know whichever career I choose, I will deal with it with my whole heart and my soul. So I would like to say, have that conversation with yourself and be brave enough to have it with your parents.
I hope everybody at home heard it, especially the young ones, you know, with society being so fragile as it is now. Now, take me back. You graduate 2007. You've got your gown, you've got your cap, you've got your degree in hand, you've got your family, you've got the village behind you. Now you've studied and you know the pressure that you have from home, changing lives, and you know basically what a degree means to families, you know. Did you get a job immediately after you graduate?
No. 2007 was the worst year for me. I felt down. I felt that I was out. And for a while, I felt sorry for myself. I felt like a victim. But I had to do a self-introspection and ask myself, why do I think I'm a victim of the society for not giving me a job? So I had to learn that I'm not entitled to anything. And that period taught me to learn how to wait, how to be patient, and not be envious of other people, of my former colleagues who are now having their jobs and they were enjoying their life. It was a lesson that I still live by, even now. You have to wait for your turn. That's very important. Because if you force things, you're going to lose.
Now, I just want to find out, I understand the conversation you had with yourself. I can imagine you at 2 a.m. telling yourself it's going to be better. With growing up from the family that you did and the village, were there any conversations that you had to have with them in explaining? Because I can imagine everybody has this thing that you get your degree today, tomorrow you walk into the office. You know, were there any tough conversations that you had to have with people, or were there any expectations from the village saying, you know, because we know we have naysayers. In Zulu they say, ubetwenzani. You know, oh, she's got her with the fancy English degree, and now she's sitting at home like us. Did that not in any way negatively affect you?
Actually, I would say I was blessed enough, Sama, not to have people saying that to my face. I only had one person whom I considered a friend. I met and she said, I thought you would have been working by now. You're a bright student. You just graduated and you're still not employed. That hurt me because I was questioning if was she really my friend. But then I had to also acknowledge that she's a human being. She's a human being. We have expectations, but that didn't take away my love for her as a friend. I still loved her, and I still told myself that I'm still waiting. And when my time comes, yeah, it's gonna happen.
So I think more than anything, it's true, and they say patience is a virtue.
Yes.
Now you get into the legal aid field, you know. In most instances, we see it as being a paper pusher. We see it as something for kids, perhaps, or, you know, like just not kids per se, but just as first-time students, and, you know, where dreams may die, or you'll never leave that space. When you entered that first day in the office, do you still remember what went through your mind? Were you saying that this is the final stop? Were you saying there's more to this? What was your what was your perspective and outlook into that office?
What I knew is that this is just the beginning. I belong up there. I didn't know what the up there was or where it was, but I knew that I needed to build a foundation for myself. And I got there, the people were welcoming, and it was so interesting. It was a lot of employees. They were busy going to court, and I thought, am I going to fit in here? But everybody was welcoming, and I learned that the culture that they have, it fits in with my values, and I embraced that immediately. But it took me quite a while to actually fit in, because I was a naive young woman. I didn't know how the world really worked. So I needed to get myself a mentor. I needed to learn on how things work within the profession. But I knew that it was the beginning of something great.
I want to get into something personal with you, especially when you speak about being naive, and I don't want to look at it as a negative, you know, but we live in a society where there's vultures.
Yep.
You know, you enter this space, you know, you come from where you come from, you know what you know. Now you into this new space where everybody's hustling and bustling. They've been here for years. Some are more streetwise than others. And then I can imagine you there with your big eyes looking at everything that's going on. Were there any instances where the vultures were circling, you know, especially as a female, a black female at that? And then how did you counteract that?
I had to take accountability for my role in allowing those vultures you're referring to take advantage of me to a certain extent. Because I needed to create a persona that I'm tough and strong and wear a mask of saying, hey, stay away from me. But that was exhausting. I had to take a step back and realize that I need to be my authentic self at all material times, so that I can be able to properly defend myself from those. I can say no without being aggressive. I can say no in my soft state. And that is my superpower. I've learned that. So they didn't stand a chance that much.
I love that you mentioned being soft, because I think we're now in a society where it's so difficult to remain feminine, remain soft, be in your element, but still being tough.
Yeah.
So you speak about your work, and I feel like you love that environment.
I love it.
I feel like you've clocked it.
I love it.
And is that why you've stayed for 16 years?
Yep. And by God's grace, I'll stay even longer.
So you've grown in that position. You've been promoted. It's been a journey.
Yes.
And what has the environment taught you that makes you grow so much with the promotions and everything?
Well, I've learned that you need to take calculated risks if you want to grow in life, whether it's in my personal life or it's in my career. I also had to learn that my integrity is my currency to maintain and sustain myself in growing. I believe that my purpose is not just limited in having my family in a healthy state, but I enjoy making a difference. I enjoy being a servant. And someone can think that being a servant is in a very negative way. No, not in that manner. I love serving people. So I had to take all the necessary steps to ensure that I reach those positions where I'll be able to make decisions that will influence people. So it's been an interesting journey for me.
Truly, but I want to find out. Now, come V, let's have a bit of a talk.
Okay.
It's been 16 years.
Yep.
I'm sure offers have come, have gone. The thoughts of being independent, opening your own practice, doing your own thing, has that not come to mind? Has that not?
Not even once. I've always told myself, if I were to leave my organization, I would do something completely different from what I'm doing. I love anything agriculture. Guess I get it from my dad.
Yeah.
So for me, having my own practice has never been an idea that I even entertained. I would have some of the colleagues in the field saying, "Hi, Bo, Mzimkulu, when are you opening your own practice? Why are you still there?" I'm like, I'm happy there. I'm happy in a lot of ways. There may be challenges, but even if I go out, there'll be challenges. I do not see myself not being in a position where I am right now because it's fulfilling. I'm serving people and I'm still that voice in a way that the capacity that it has, it supports my ideals and my values.
I've heard people who stayed in the same institution for the long time because of necessity.
Yeah.
You know, so the way you're so passionate about it, it's very surprising in today's society to find you. Yes, you're still going up, but it's in a singular trajectory because most people would be jumping around from institution to institution. What is it about the legal aid space? I know it's about serving people, but I think you could serve as in your personal capacity. But what is it about this institution that has got you?
It's what it stands for, you know, the mandate that it has, the difference it makes in people's lives, the ability it gives me to be out there and be that voice, and it supports me in ways that if I were in a different environment, I'm not saying that from other institutions I don't have all the perks that I do have now, but their vision, it sits well with me. Their values, they sit well with me. They support this purpose I say I want to fulfill and complete in my life. It's fulfilling.
So you're now the CEO of a branch. You're not just a lawyer now. And you based here in Bangui. Tell me about the leap from moving from the Eastern Cape. And of all places, like I can understand as a young up-and-coming lawyer, especially even in the legal aid space, there's so many exciting areas that most people would think about. Why did you take the road less walked?
I've always been a person who believes that you need to get out of your comfort zone if you want to achieve something great. And I always have a time frame for myself. I told myself, you know what? Okay, I need to move. And I had to work and plan that when the time comes, I'm going to move. It doesn't matter where it is, as long as it's going to be a place where I can be able to still go home. So the opportunity came. I was like, I don't even know anyone there. I'll be all on my own. But then I had to remember, I went to the Northern Cape, I didn't know anyone. I went to the Western Cape in Worcester, I didn't know anyone. I had to come back to KZN. I was like, if you want to get where you want to go, take those calculated risks. You must know that you have to sacrifice being in your comfort zone. And I did it without hesitation. And with the support from my family, it made things very easy.
So when we speak about your family, are they this side or are they still in the Eastern Cape? And how is that feeling? Because I can imagine, here's the thing, as a CEO, you're leading your branch, you're leading people, and they've all got different personalities, and you still need to lead fearlessly, but with compassion, you know. How is that? Because now you don't have the ability to go home and have someone being compassionate for you, because you now ooze all your compassion to others. How do you deal with moving to a new area, moving to a new space, the new responsibility? Would not assume there would be a language barrier or any sense, but there is a cultural difference.
Definitely. Definitely.
How are you able to manage all these moving parts?
Well, first of all, my family is not here with me. Okay. They're all in the Eastern Cape. And thank God that my son was also supportive of mommy moving. But he said, Mommy, not this time. I'm not moving with you. Go do your thing. I'll stay here with Mzimkulu no go. And, when I came here, I knew that I'll have challenges. But it wasn't something I was afraid of. Being the head of an office, you have to understand that you're not only managing the office, you're managing the people who are doing the work. They have different personalities, they have different cultures, they have different everything. And I'm different from them. But the bottom line is, we are family. And I have that responsibility to ensure that we respect each other. We are compassionate with each other. We are supportive of each other. We're a team. Now, how do I ensure that? You need to be assertive. I can be all smiley, I can be all kind and loving and strict at the same time. It's my responsibility. It's my duty to ensure that I also make them understand that they are accountable for the work that they sign for. They are accountable for their actions. They have to protect themselves and protect the values and the image of what they stand for. So it's not really a big struggle. It's just that sometimes it's challenging. And not being able to have someone to talk to when I go home, I'm used to it now. I've embraced it because it's a choice that I made. And you have to be mentally strong. You have to be mentally strong to be able to deal with everything around you.
I don't know how you do it.
It's by God's grace. I promise you, it's by God's grace and my commitment to my vision and my dreams.
So you speak about having a son. I think he's a teenager.
Yes.
Now. So it's those ages. But he sounds like a smart young man of having that conversation, of knowing that mom is not here. Mom is going to live her dreams, I'll say, in a sense. But how is it now? You're dealing with a teenager. Social media is a big thing. You seem very conservative in the way you structured your life and you do things. And you're managing a teenager, Have you ever applied the things that you do in the office in managing this new age teenager?
I've been very lucky to have my brothers and my parents to guide him. He's a boy. He's a boy child. Sometimes mommy will be a bit overprotective and strict, but they support me. The only fear I always have when it comes to him and me not being around is how the society can influence teenage boys. So I always make sure that I have difficult conversations with him. I teach him, baby, don't deal with girls like this. You don't do this. You don't do that. It's against the law. And sometimes I discuss some of the cases I deal with and be like, Mama, what is that? So I have to explain what's going on. But he's a very mature teenager in a way. And thank God he doesn't have social media accounts as yet. I do manage his account. He's got his phones with him, but the settings there, I limit his activities. Yes, until such time that he can be able to handle himself. But I know, Zama, that it's not easy being a parent. Even if you stay with your child with you, things can happen.
Yeah.
But with me, I have a support of my family. I'm grateful for that. Very much grateful. And I do have conversations with him. It's important, as scary as it may be, to speak about things. It's necessary. Yeah.
I'm glad that we have this conversation because the reality of the matter is I'm a mom.
Yeah.
You know, my son is 4.
Okay.
And I see what's going on in the world right now. And I'm always clutching my pearls and thinking, when this little man is at the age where he can see the things happening in this world. And also, my son also stays with his grandparents, my mom and dad.
Okay.
So you always have the fear that, is it the best decision to go for your dreams, but also have him in a setting that is structured for him and getting the love. So I'm glad that you touched on this, because right now we're in a society where we have so many young moms who are out there striving, you know, but you have that fear in the back of your mind that society is not so forgiving of especially our young boys right now. So I am thinking that all the moms at home see that you are able to do it, and they can definitely do it, especially with a teenager.
Yeah, and you know, Zama, I must confess, my parents didn't have conversations with me. So a lot of decisions that I made as a young girl growing up, getting myself into trouble and those kind of situations, no one ever said, don't do A, B, C, and D. I had to get myself bent first, then learn by, hey, Vuyiswa, don't do that again. But I told myself that we need to change the narrative. Our parents grew up in situations where you don't question your parents, where you don't ask, why am I not allowed to do A, B, C, and D? But with my son, I told myself that I'm not going to have my son not have knowledge about things that he should not be doing, and also support him on things that he wants to do. Yeah.
So why are you speaking about that, especially as the young girl that did not have all that? Because it's a lot. I think it's a story for a lot of us in this generation where our parents were, I don't want to say scared, but it was not a normal thing to have those conversations. You learn along the way. So now this brings me to the side of the show where I call it Dear Diary. So I want Vuyiswa to imagine herself as the 20-year-old in 2007, where things were looking dark, where things were looking as if there's no light at the end of the tunnel. What would Vuyiswa now write in the diary of Vuyiswa, the 20-year-old, that will give her hope to continue on and not give up, because there is light at the end of the tunnel?
The first thing I would say is that I'm sorry I never gave you enough grace to believe in you. You are, and you had always been good enough. You were not responsible for the bad things that happened to you and around you. And I'm sorry that there were times where I let you down by doubting you. Because when you have self-doubt, it hurts. It hurts that little girl, even though when you're 21, you may not see that you're little anymore. But it's important that you give love to that girl. It's important that you embrace the flaws. You embrace your beauty, as ugly as it may be seen by the world. You're always good enough. And your dreams mattered. And they will always matter. And I love you.
Oh, I love the final part, because I think sometimes we forget that part of loving yourself. My final question for you, Sis Vuyiswa. You've lived your life. We could call you successful. You know, I know a lot of people don't want to use the word to remain humble, but if we are being honest, looking at your life, looking at 16 years, that you've worked so hard. Look at the titles you have. As an outsider, I could use that term easily.
Yeah.
That no, Vuyiswa is successful.
Yeah.
But I want to understand the metric you use to define success. Is it the cases you've won? Is it the people you've helped? Is it the money or lifestyle that you live? Or is it the fact that you've never lost Ubuntu that was taught to you in that little village of Kubusi?
You're making me a bit emotional right now. Success to me means that I'm living my life in my own terms. I'm enjoying the fruits of my hard work, my sacrifices, the sleepless nights, the times I spent away from my family, the times that I made mistakes and learned from them, and I did not allow criticism that is out there to shake from where I stood. And furthermore, it also means that I need to remain my authentic self, no matter what. No matter what. The material things, they are the perks that come with me being authentic and being a hard worker. And I enjoy them. I'm not going to lie. They're part of the success, you know. So it means different things from other people, but for Vuyiswa, it means you are yourself. You work hard, you stand for what you believe in, you don't shake no matter what. When you fall, you stand up, and you're your own cheerleader. You are your own cheerleader.
Thank you so much, Sis Vuyiswa, for teaching us that success does not change who you are. Because we live in a society where people walk away from those dusty streets and look at the flashy lights and think they have achieved it. Thank you so much, and continue being the pioneer that you are. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Vuyiswa, and she teaches us that your beginnings play a very vital role in growing you and molding you, but more than anything, the power is in your hands. My name is Zama Kimeklo, and this was the Top Woman Podcast. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Ngiyabonga.